I got some good news. All the stories you're about to hear, none of them happened at bol.com. You know, but observations from a dinosaur, a stand-up comedian approach to software engineering. That's quite a title, isn't it? You know, we have some expectations, I think. This is going to be fun. So I say that I'm a dinosaur. Well, we're going to first start with some accountability. Let's see if I'm an actual dinosaur. And then we're going to go on a journey. We start the journey. Soon we will get lost. That happens with journeys, of course. Then we find out we're in a never-ending story. That's obvious. And then we end with twin adventures. Originally, I wanted to end with delayed wizardry. But it got delayed. No, I had to kill some darlings. And it was, yeah, it's the coolest story of all, but I had to kill it. And, well, if you see me after this show, you know, and you just ask, like, hey, Freddy, what's that delayed wizardry story? I'm happy to tell you. But first, some accountability. This is me. Yeah. I was young too once. And that's my desktop. I started my working life 30 years ago as a programmer. We had some machines that were all old, not network connected. We were running with floppy disks, and it were different days. Anyway, I was programming the C programming language. I loved it a lot. And damn, I looked young. But at some point I realized programming is great, but I don't understand nothing about operating systems and networking. And I want to learn about it. So I became a system administrator. That's an actual spinning disk. It's huge, you know. Two of them fits in a cabinet, in a big cabinet. You could store 300 to 800 megabytes on one of these disks, and they cost $75,000. You know, it was part of an IBM 4381 mainframe. I was lucky to operate. Crazy system. From that system, I went on to some other Unix systems because, you know, what can you do? System administration. I completely hated Windows. I didn't understand it. Unfortunately, I'm too stupid for it. So I was like, I'm going to do Unix. You know, and then they say to me, like, oh, yeah, Unix, that's difficult. What do you know about it? I said, well, I know Linux. Yeah, but it's a toy OS. It never lasts to something, you know, it's nothing. Well, I said, well, we'll see. You know, so I did some pretty cool things. Okay, these are some of my colleagues. We had Penguin Day that day. It was fun. And then it got back. I mean, I love the programming. I love the software engineering. So it was like, I'm going to be an embedded software engineer. You know, that's an actual soldering iron. Yes, you need it as a software engineer, embedded. And, you know, we had some great times. I learned back to C programming again, Python, some other CPUs. And the cool thing is, I also work with an MSP 430 microcontroller. Well, an Intel CPU, an AMD CPU, they're difficult. I don't understand them. Pipelining, caching, really difficult. But these microprocessors, you can understand them from back to front. It's really great. So if you ever get a chance, work with them. They're amazing. So that's what I did. But, you know, the world's dark ages. And there were some dark ages in my career as well. I thought, you know, I'm getting old. I need to be a manager. So what I did, as soon as I got a chance, I got back to being a system engineer. But damn, the world has changed. I mean, there was Puppet all of a sudden. You remember that one, I think. And there was cloud computing, Kubernetes, and you know, and I'm old. I'm a dinosaur. I'm not that fast anymore. But you know, I'm hanging in there. I'm doing my best and having great fun. So you know, now you have a bit of me. I think we can all conclude that I'm a dinosaur. Yes, Freddy, we can. Yes, thank you. So, with that said, we're going to start our journey. Or, in other words, a short tale of disappearing countries. At the start of my career, I was working at a very small software firm as a programmer, I already told. And there were 5 people in them, and we created some software, environmental software, on the Schiphol airport, and it was fun. But in a former life, the owner of the company, he had created some other software, and that was in use with the company, and, well, they were not entirely happy with it. There were some issues. And, well, my former, the owner of the company was not really happy trying to solve them anymore. So what do? You send the intern. That was me. So, he said, Freddy, very important assignment. Go there to the company, solve all the issues, make this woman's life, make her happy. I said, well, I can do that. Make a woman happy. I was young, I thought, I can do that. So off I went to this company, and I got to meet her. Very nice lady. Nice to meet you. We chit-chatted a bit, and she said, well, Freddy, I got some issues. And she had a map on her desk, and she showed her, and I saw it. And immediately I panicked. I froze. Each and every paper in that map featured details of a problem that I needed to solve. and I knew straight away, I'm not going to make this woman happy. It's not going to happen. Forget it. It's over. What can you do? So I was like, you know what? Tell me, what's the problem that bugs you the most? What annoys you really? He said, well, Freddy, I have a real weird thing, and I don't know. I have to, in this program, I need to administer countries. Part of an address is a country, so there was a list of countries. And, and sometimes I enter a country and it doesn't show up. And sometimes it does. And I really have no idea. I said, well, okay, let's look in it. Let's see. So she showed me, and, well, here's a list of countries. Of course, it's not a screenshot of the actual program. It's just, that you understand it a bit. So, well, looks nice, beautiful countries. I said, well, Freddy, watch out. I'm going to enter a new one. And so she did. And she entered Italy. Yes! I said, well, the software is working. All good. And she said, yes, that's weird. And she said, but whoa, wait a minute. Where's the United Kingdom? It was Brexit avant la lettre. Whoa. But she sure did wanted to UK back, like we all do, So, okay, I said, well, I think it's clear. I understand the problem, So off I went. I was, of course, not allowed to sit with this nice lady. I was to sit with the IT people. They were in a different room. There was a desk. There was a terminal on top of it. And underneath that desk was a Unix machine that ran all kinds of software. Yes, it was not in a data center, of course. It was underneath a desk with all the administrators. That's how you did things back then, So anyway, I got an account. I logged into the system, and I started looking for the source code because, yes, there was no version control system, of course, no Git and all that shit. No, I found the source code. And then I looked around, and I found a file.countries.c. Can you read it? Oh, it's smaller than I was expecting. Anyway, countries.c. Oh, could be something. So I looked into that file. I was looking, and then in the first 10 lines, I found this. Yeah, you're laughing, right? I was like, what is this? I said, hey, this is going to be easy. So I changed it to 30. I closed the editor, compiled the code, ran the code, and nothing happened. Nothing. What? I opened the file again, looked around, and then I found this. I don't know if you're C programmers, but that's the loop. Yeah, I don't think I have to explain it. What the fuck? I changed the 10. I changed it to max countries. I was sure I looked for a 9, an 11, an 8, and a 12. You don't know, right? So anyway, I ran the code, and it worked. Happy. So I went back to this beautiful lady. I said, hey, I think I solved it. And she looked and yes, it works. She was so happy. Hey, and so I said, well, what did she do? She said, I said, well, I polished some bits. I moved them around left and right. It's really difficult, hard to explain. And I'm pretty sure that night she came home, and she was like, to her husband or spouse, whatever, like, that IT people, man, they're magicians. So, And, well, but even magicians sometimes get lost. Or we now go to a curious case of the computer experiencing dementia, I think. Well, this, I have no cool other side story to it. We're going straight to the code. Well, I'm going to teach you a bit of C. This is a nice piece of text. Yeah, it's on the screen. And that's, we're going to do something with that text. And of course, if you want to do something with the text, we all know you need, in C, a pointer. I'm pretty sure that if we all program by example. So Stack Overflow, if we need to solve something, we look on Stack Overflow, hey, oh, and we do it. Back in the days, everybody did that too. But then we had no internet like now. We just had books, And so this programmer who wrote, this is not the actual thing I saw, of course, but it's, made up and to get the idea across. So what he did, he didn't understand pointers and memory management or what's not, but he saw in all the examples, in all the books, if there's a pointer, you need to allocate memory, of course. So he allocated memory. Does anybody already know what the potential flaw here could be? No worries. Sorry? No. So anyway, he allocated some memory. He stored the memory address in the pointer to the text, and it was safe. It was all good. And then he did the thing he needed to do. So first, he assigned the pointer to a text string. This is a more difficult one, right? But what happened to the memory address for the allocated memory? It's gone. Now the pointer stores the start of the string, not the memory address, not the memory location anymore. And this, kids, this is a memory leak. This is how memory leaks work. But because for the rest of the time of the software is running, that memory is gone. The computer forgot about it. And of course, he was a good programmer. He followed his examples. He freed the memory, of course. Well, it was so much fun working with this guy. Anyway, next story. We're going to the never-ending story. Did anybody close the restaurant of the end of the universe, maybe? Thing. Now we're pretty, you've seen some C code, we're pretty experienced C programmers right now. So for this next one, I'm going to show you the code straight away. Bear with me. Here we go. By now, I'm pretty sure you think I'm bullshitting. I think you probably think I make this all up, I'm not making this up. And honestly, I saw this. And I'm pretty sure that there at least is one of you that owns the product, because it was a very popular product where this code was in. And I'm pretty sure that at least one and maybe two or three of you owns that product. Wow, what was he thinking? I saw that code and I walked to the guy. I said, man, I have to work on your software. I need to add a feature, and I saw this, and I don't understand it. Well, Freddy, he said, Freddy, it's vitally important for that extra one to be there. I don't understand it, but sometimes, every now and then, it breaks out of the loop. Really, it did that. And I was like, what? Yeah, honestly, the embedded world, it was an embedded program. The embedded world, some compilers are weird, but I'm pretty sure the compiler optimized this away out of his code. But so, what did he do? I think, and none of you do that, of course, right? None of you do that, right? If you have a problem, you don't change 2, 3, or 4 things at the same time, don't you? No. He, of course, also did not do that. Well, okay, that was the never-ending story that ended after all, luckily. Okay, now we're on to one very complicated search, only to find the obvious. Until now, I've made jokes about people you don't know, and it was never about me. The next one is about me. I was stupid as well. I'm still stupid, but damn. Now we have to go back to time. I was a system engineer, and of course I didn't know everything. And there was a well, there was an installation in Mexico, and the sales manager, the sales director of the company, said, "It's vitally important that Freddy goes to Mexico straight away. I need him there. There's an installation going on. It's a very important installation. Freddy is needed." I was like, okay. And the sales director of the company was standing next to the engineering director of the company that was sitting on the other side of the table of me. And I was like, okay, can we find this? And of course, the engineering director said, "Well, I'm not sure. Are you really sure that Freddy is needed?" Yes, 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 he's really needed. Well, and I was like, luckily, the sales director won. So 2 days later, off I was to Mexico. On the plane, Mexico, arrived there, walked to the casino, dropped my stuff at I dropped my stuff at the hotel, walked to the casino, and because I worked in the casino business at that time, and I walked into the casino, and I was like, there's nothing to be done for me. That was a total chaos. People were running around, all the machines were opened, it was madness, and I was like, what can I do? And it's like, Mike, my friend, the engineering director, he was right. There's nothing to be done for me for the several next days. So I walked back to the hotel, and there was a beautiful swimming pool. I was in the swimming pool, used my phone, and I called my friend, the engineering director. I said, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" "Oh, good." "What do you think I'm doing? Where do you think I'm at right now?" Yeah, Freddy, you're in Mexico." "Yeah, I know that, but more specifically." "Yeah, you're in the casino, I hope." "Well, not entirely." "I'm in the swimming pool." "What?" And I didn't need a phone at that time. At that day, the speed of sound matched the speed of light, I think, because I could hear him scream straight away. Anyway, I say, no worries, no problem, nothing at all. There's another installation in America. Let me go there. Let me book a flight. I go to America. There's a colleague of us. He's really he's there for a month already. He's having some trouble. And, maybe I'm pretty sure I can help him. Is it okay to go there? I said, "Well, Freddy, go, please." So the next day, off I was on a plane to Kansas City. Kansas City is not in the state of Kansas, of course, but it's in the state of Missouri. I don't know why, but anyway, I arrived there, went to the casino, and found my colleague there, and said, "How's it going?" "Yeah, a month already. I'm sick and tired." I said, "I got good news. Go home. I'm going to solve all your problems. I'm going to do the last thing." And I said, "Well, tell me, what's the problem?" He said, "Freddy, we have product A from the competitor that need to work with product B, our products. They need to communicate by means of serial communication. And, well, I've tried everything." "You tried everything?" "I tried everything." I trusted him. I believed him. Never believe people. Anyway, so I said, "Okay, well, let's see. Now, what can I do?" Serial communication. I didn't know much about serial communication. Of course, I knew a bit. I had a mouse back in the days. That was no USB. That was serial communication. I knew printers were parallel communication. So I knew a bit, but that was all I knew. I knew nothing. So what I did, I walked to they had a data center of some sort, That was my laptop, and this is your friend when you're an embedded software engineer. Does anyone know what it is? Exactly. It was my best friend. I learned to work with it. So what I did, let's, measure the signal, see what the signal looks like. So I started measuring it, and, okay, yeah, nice signal, what does it mean? And I knew the protocol a bit. So I drew the signal on a piece of paper, and I was like, okay, it looks like this. And I'll show you the picture in a minute, but first I'll tell you a bit more about the picture. I was like, okay, I know the data bytes that should be on the wires. I wrote them somewhere a bit, and I was like, okay, it looks, maybe I can divide them a bit. This might be 8 bits, I don't know. And I noticed, and here's the picture that I drew. And I was like, okay, yeah, this must be the byte that's on the line. Oh, yes, it looks a bit like high-ish. And and there's that bytes and these bytes. You can, well, hey, okay, you can divide them a bit. Hey, that's funny. When a byte starts, it's low a while for the signal, and when it's always high on the end. Then I found out, okay, that might be start and stop bits. Okay, that works like that. And I start to play a bit, and here, A4, C6, hexadecimal, and I converted that to bits, and I got some bits lengths wrong, of course, because I was just drawing from the screen, right? What was I thinking? Anyway, I figured that puzzled, and I spent so long on that screen, and I was like, at some point, hey, wait a minute. It looks like there's a bit in front of it, and could it be parity? Yes, and it was only parity. And I checked the software. I changed the parity settings of the setup, and it all started working. Man, what a stupid! This took me hours. It was really, really bad, but I learned a lot about serial communication that day. Yeah. Oh, yes. It's pretty cool. I tried. Normally at work, I'm just in the lunch. I'm walking outside, enjoying just walking outside, and I practiced all these small stories several times in my head, and I always ran out of time. Not today. I don't know. Am I talking too fast? Not. I don't do that, right? No, it's cool still, because we're already to the last story. But now I've got some extra time to tell a nice side story. Because, of course, after this story, I went back to Mexico. Arriving in Mexico, a week and a half later or something, I don't know. The state of the installation was exactly the same. It was still panic, it was still chaos, and it was weird. And I was like, wow. So anyway, I said to these guys, come on, let's go back to the hotel. We need to do something. Back at the hotel, everybody was frantically in the laptop. I was like, yeah, we need to do something. And they said, Freddy, no, wait. They were calling a lawyer in Vegas, $1,000 an hour lawyer. And so it dawned to me, apparently we were working for an FBI most wanted person. And the company was not really amused. So what they did said, we're going to stop this job, and we're going to leave the country. And everybody and how going to leave? And there were people from America, there were people from Belgium, there were people from the Netherlands, and we all needed to leave the country within an hour most. We didn't want to leave anyone out. And it was a bit exciting, At 5 a.m. we ran in a cab and we went to the airport and we flew out. It was a bit scary, and then of course you're in the flight and you think, yeah, what happens, man? It was not that much. But then you read the newspaper a year later and you think, hey, I've seen that name before. And he was sprayed with an M16 or whatever, his car. Later he was also in the news. Apparently he donated the Obama. Well, it was a funny thing. Well, anyway, so enough of that, whatever. It's time for some twin adventures. How great minds think alike, though fools seldom differ. And we're going back to another serial communication problem because, hey, I was experiencing serial communication, right? I learned it the hard way. So the other day, I was in my office. I had a room, and we were the two of us in a room, and I was sitting next to the other guy, and the guy was huffing and puffing and cursing and brrr. And at some point, I was like, cool, hey, what's going on? Well, there's this problem. I really don't understand. it doesn't work. I need to communicate with this product, and it doesn't work. I don't know. I've tried everything, and it doesn't work. I don't know. I said, okay, let me check. And he said, well, Freddy, here, I even tried it with another piece of software. My software is not working, but Picocom, that's a serial, a tool you can use to some serial communication, it doesn't work. Neither does that work. I said, okay, could be. So I said, oh, show me your code. So he did. He showed me his code, and this is just, again, a snippet of what he did. And I was like, okay, you open the device, you set some options, and you get some options, and you set odd parity. Yes, it's odd parity, Freddy. Are you sure? Yes. Well, yeah. Anyway, but yes, it needed odd parity. He was right, and, well, looks good. I was like, but something was bugging me, like, well, I'm not sure. So I checked the manual page, and I looked in the manual page and was like, okay, per odd, if set, then parity for input and output is odd. Otherwise, even parity is used. Looks good, right? Do we all agree? It looks good? But in that man page, the line above said, parity enable. Enable parity generation on output and parity checking for input. I'm like, and so as I walked to the guy, I said, yeah, I think there's a problem in your code. No, there's not. I'm pretty sure. I tested it also with Picocom, and no, there's not a problem. I said, well, I'm not sure. Can you please, change your code and, do it like this, And he said, of course, he was reluctantly doing that. And lo and behold, it worked. And he was happy. And he was the type of programmer, you have to, I don't know, I hope you're not like that, but some programmers, they're so happy when something works, Yes, it works, and continue to the next thing. But they never, they never test the situation where it doesn't work. But I'm like that, and I was like, yeah, but wait a minute, now your code works and you're happy and continuing, but that cannot be possible because you tested it with Picocom. And that wasn't working either, and I got confused, and I could not let go, he was happy, but I was not. So what I did, I downloaded the Picocom source code and started looking in it. So how can that be? And then, I don't know, half an hour later, there was a patch ready. Because apparently, the Picocom programmer made the exact same mistake. I mean, how? It was so weird. And so it was pretty cool. Yeah, well, I think it was cool. I was so happy. And of course, the other colleague of mine, he didn't bother. But yeah, so that was it. Man, were it great minds or both fools? I don't know. Anyway, now it would have been time for the delayed wizardry, but like I said, there's no time, unfortunately. Well, there's like 1 minute, 20 seconds. I can't do that story right now, so yeah, so I'm sorry. But that said, I wanted to end this with, because a wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. And I wanted to end this one a minute before. And that's what I did. I want to say thank you, because this was it. And I hope you liked it. In time.
Great. Thank you very much, Freddy, for finishing in time.
I'm so happy.
And of course, for your great talk.
Thank you very much.
Nice. All right. So this was the last session of the theater for today. There will be another plenary session at the Vriendenplein by, I think, the CTO of PostNL, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot my card. After that, there is a bottle at 4 o'clock and a pub quiz by Tim and Babish. And the pub quiz is in the expo and also has drinks and beer. So don't be afraid to participate by lack of drinks. So I will see you there. Thank you very much.